Hey you guys, it's Voluptuous and Skinny, and we are on day 11 of getting rid of the regain and our made to crave devotions. I am exhausted today. It feels like this is one of the hardest days, especially as far as energy is concerned. I have yet to close my circles, but I'm almost there. I only have 5,000 steps today, but it'll be okay. Sometimes we just have those days, and how we react to them and how we move forward is what is going to determine whether or not we are successful at what we're trying to do. So lean in and let's get going. So let's open our Bible app. Day 11. What did you know it? It says, "It's not fair." Very good title for how I'm feeling today. A huge piece of delicious looking cake was delivered to our table. It was my favorite. It was our anniversary, and it was free. But I was at the beginning of my healthy eating adventure, which excluded sugary confections. Remember that? Just last week. So I graciously offered it to my husband, and pretty much this week too. But inside, a different dialogue was playing in my head, or in my mind. It's not fair. I think this is one of the biggest tricks Satan plays to get us to give in to temptation, saying it's not fair, has caused many a girl to toss aside what she knows is right for the temporary thrill of whatever it is that does seem fair. We complain, "It's not fair that I gain weight so easily when everyone else seems to eat whatever they want and stay trim." Now realize that the dessert itself is not the problem. But if one piece of dessert leads to two, and that leads to other compromises, which leads to wrecking our whole healthy eating plan, then the downward spiral reflects how temptation traps us in so many areas of life. I've experienced this vicious cycle myself, and I'm here to give you hope that it is possible to conquer it. My pity party was a clue that I was relying on my own strength, a strength that has failed me before and will fail me again. So when justifications swirl in my mind, it's a special day with a special person. What's the harm in sampling? I know I have to grab hold of God's strength. The only way I've found to do that is to invite His power into the situation by mentally reciting truths such as, "I'm more than a conqueror. With God, all things are possible." Or, "Let the peace of God reign in your heart." This battle reminds me of the time I canceled a dating couple about setting boundaries in their physical relationship. They were looking forward to the best that marital sex had to offer, but struggled with maintaining purity in the face of immediate and temporary passion. They were tempted with the thought, it's not fair that we can't have sex before we're married, when we're so in love. Everyone else does. My advice to them was to think beyond the moment, to say out loud, "This feels good now, but how will I feel about this in the morning?" The truth is compromising my commitments for the sake of physical pleasure is not God's best for me. And whatever the example is that you decide to use, that same truth will reign supreme over all. The truth is, compromising your commitments or my commitments for the sake of physical pleasure, which is what that food does. It gives us that sensation. It gives us that high that we need sometimes. It gives us that physical pleasure. But compromising those commitments for the sake of physical pleasure is not God's best for you or for me. The same advice powerfully applies to our area of struggle. As we recite truth, God's power can fill the gap of our weakness. I don't know what you might be struggling with today, but I can assure you that God is just and fair. There's a good reason why we must face our temptations. The struggle to say no may be painful in the moment, but the process is working out something magnificent within us. Let me say that again. The struggle to say no may be painful in the moment, but the process is working out something magnificent within us. That's a good word, because that rings true for me in other areas of life. I think that we can take what we do with food and how we feel about food, and it so applies to other areas of our lives. So much so. So let's look at Matthew 19:26. It says, Jesus looked at them and said, with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. All right. So based on today's reading, what is one thing God is saying to you? All right, you guys, y'all keep praying for me. I'll keep praying for you. You have made it over half the way through this, 11 days down. And if it gets hard, just remember that we are here with you. Leave a comment and we will encourage you as best as we can. But just stay true to the journey. We can do this. Peace out, babies. Mwah.